California is now releasing hundreds of millions of dollars to help Southern California recover from the wildfires last year. The move comes after NBC4 Investigates reported that only a fraction of the governor's $2.5 billion fund had even been touched.
The state has now approved money for some major projects in the Palisades and Eaton fire zones. NBC4 investigative reporter Eric Leonard's been following the money for months. He joins us now with an update. Eric.
Hi, Jonathan and Colleen. Well, this will be another bit of really welcome news, particularly for people who live in the Pacific Palisades. It's another $300 million that's been released from the governor's emergency fire fund after we began asking state and local officials what had happened to all of this money and why hadn't more of it reached the communities that needed it most.
The latest financial statement from the California Department of Finance that we obtained details about $308 million in new spending from the fund, money that's been released since we first reported on this in May. The city of LA is getting quite a bit for the Palisades, more than $110 million, including nearly $32 million in reimbursements for firefighting and the initial emergency response, more than $56 million for infrastructure repairs and reconstruction projects, and $22 million for a new home hardening program designed to help people make their homes more resistant to fires. Plus, since that financial statement was released, the state approved another $9.2 million for some repair projects, including almost $350,000 to fix the Santa Ynez Reservoir. That's the reservoir that was empty when the Palisades fire started. LA County is getting around $190 million. We told you last week, most is going towards relocating some power lines underground in both Altadena and the Palisades. Plus, there's funding for the county to repair parks and streets in Altadena.
So the governor's office tells us this money can only be used for government-sponsored projects that they believe will someday be reimbursed by FEMA. The governor's office says the feds have been really slow to pass an additional disaster funding bill, but the governor, in his words, has refused to wait, which is why this interim fund was created. So all told, we've calculated about $856 million out of the potential $2.5 billion has now been spoken for, and the deadline for this pool of money expired June 30th. But City Councilwoman Tracy Parker, who represents the Palisades, as we reported last week, has asked the governor to extend the deadline. So far, we don't know if that will happen, but there is still money out there.
Is there any indication when FEMA might finally be able to reimburse the state?
That's a question for the federal government, and it's been difficult for both the locals and us to get clear answers about all of that. This is all contingent on that money being somewhere in the federal system, eventually to replace the money the state is fronting. It's like a payday loan, but where this is all going to end up is still a little unclear.
But we're likely to see improvements happening sooner than later.
Absolutely.
All right, Eric, thank you.